This is Dana Thomson from the IDEAMAPS network. In the next 3 decades, 90% of global population increase will take place in African and Asian cities alone, mostly in deprived areas such as slums and informal settlements. There is no general definition of slums, informal settlements, or other deprived areas, and there's no comparable, scalable, accurate approach to mapping deprived areas. But hang on a minute, there are plenty of statistics about slum dwellers out there. We've all heard the statistic, 1 billion slum dwellers globally, or maybe 47% of such and such urban population live in slums. The thing is, these statistics are not about slum areas, they're about slum households. UN Habitat's slum households might be better labeled poor households because we have no idea if they are located in slum areas or not. In cities where both slum households and slum areas were measured, roughly half of the slum households were located outside of slum areas. There are currently 4 mostly siloed slum mapping approaches, but none on their own result in routine accurate slum maps across cities. Community-based field mapping and manually digitizing satellite imagery are labor-intensive processes that cannot scale to all cities globally every year. The aggregation of slum households from census or survey data does not accurately tell us where slum dwellers are located. And while machine learning algorithms and other computer models can integrate loads of diverse data, they are often created without meaningful connections to the stakeholders who live and work in the areas being modeled. However, each slum mapping tradition also offers strengths which can be leveraged to create an integrated deprived area mapping system, or IDEAMAPS. Community-based field maps are obviously the most accurate and context-relevant maps of slums and informal settlements available. And when many diverse local stakeholders and experts map the boundaries of deprived areas in the same city, we can begin to understand where there is strong agreement on deprivation and where transition or mixed zones might be. Censuses and surveys provide demographic and social data, and computer models with proper engagement of diverse stakeholders are repeatable and scalable across cities. The IDEAMAPS network officially launched in May 2020, and we've gained roughly 350 global members over the last year, approximately evenly split between low and middle income countries and high income countries. The main deliverable that we're working toward is a city-level map of deprivation that foremost protects and empowers vulnerable communities. The output will be of 100 by 100 meter grid cells that blur the exact boundaries of communities that do not wish to be identified. Deprivation will be mapped on a scale from most to least deprived, again, preventing the delineation of exact boundaries so as to minimize risk of harassment, fines, or eviction. At the same time, the 100 by 100 meter grid cells are meant to provide a high degree of spatial detail. These units are approximately the size of a city block, and mapping on the scale of most to least deprived supports multiple use cases so that these maps can be utilized by community members, city planners, NGOs, academics, and more. For these maps to be generated routinely and accurately at scale via an inclusive process, we also need to create a new type of data ecosystem, one that allows multiple stakeholders to input data into this ecosystem and which enables those users to maintain control over their own data, but also encourages fair exchanges of data among stakeholders. For local and national governments with mandates to monitor demographic and development indicators, it is important they are part of the modeling process. We expect that an integrated deprived area mapping system will support numerous foreseen and unexpected users. However, there are 3 particular users and use cases that we are prioritizing in the design and development of IDEAMAPS. First, community-based users who might be using deprived area maps or other data in the ecosystem to seek legal recognition, lobby for basic services, engage with city planners, and initiate their own community upgrading. Also, city or regional government stakeholders who might want to use deprived area maps to prioritize infrastructure projects or allocate funding or by engaging communities in participatory upgrading, or local SDG monitoring, or finally certifying an official slum map for their city. And finally, for all of us to finally be able to monitor progress toward SDG 11 accurately. This means routinely and accurately estimating the % of urban populations living in slums, informal settlements, and other deprived areas. Learn more about the IDEAMAPS network at ideamapsnetwork.org. And if you follow us on Twitter at IDEAMAPS Network, we will follow you back. Thank you.